This recording is in regards to country profile assignment. It's worth 20%. It's reasonably worthwhile for you to focus on, but it's not worth a lot of points. So I just want you to be aware of it as you're doing this assignment. It is worth 20%. And you're to do this as a group. I've asked you to form groups of 5. If you're not in a group, or if your group member has less than 5, that's your choice. But if you would like more people to join your group, please let my TA know. But if you choose to be in a group that are 2 or 3 or doing it by yourself, that's fine as well, as long as you don't have more than 5 members in your group. It's a report. There's no presentation. It's simply a report with a maximum page length of 15 pages, single space with 1-inch margin, and 12 font type. This does not include title pages and references, but it does include all appendices. So you can either integrate the items within the body of the paper, or you can put it in appendices, but no more than 15 pages. There is no minimum. Conceivably, you can have a report that's 10-page, 12-page, 13-page, what have you. I'm not particularly looking for the length of the report. I'm looking for the quality. At the same time, my suggestion is that 15 pages, it's not that difficult to fill the 15 pages when you have 5 group members working on it. And you probably will need all of these 15 pages to be able to sufficiently do a good job on this country profile assignment. Now, I am reading off and referring to the rubric format and rubric for written country profile assignment that I gave it to you a couple of weeks ago, and it's posted on the course Blackboard. If you do not have this on with you, I suggest that you stop this recording and obtain a printout, or at least have access to it, because I'm going to be going through the rubrics and explaining to you each elements of these reports. Okay. So what is country profile assignment, and what's the purpose of it? Well, you're taking an international business course, so what I would like you to do is choose one country. Now, as I said before, you're not to choose Canada or United States. Okay? You can choose other countries, but not Canada and United States. It's just, we live here, we are familiar with it, etc. I would prefer you choose a country that you're not familiar with, or you're less familiar with. What we call level of foreignness. The more foreign the country, I think, the more you will learn from this country profile assignment. So one of the things that I will also look for in your selection of the country is the level of foreignness. If the country that I feel is very foreign, there are more challenges for you to do the assignment, therefore it will be worth more. But there are many, having said that, there are many countries that are, where there's a lot of business opportunities, you know, and it might be worthwhile and meaningful for you to do an assignment on that, so you have a good understanding of that country, should you ever be in a position to do a business with individuals from that country. So level of foreignness is important, there's no doubt, but also I want you to choose a country that's meaningful. Okay? That the information that you gather may sometime in your life will become used to you, either as a business person, as an entrepreneur, or even just simply as a tourist wanting to visit that country. Okay? You do not need a pre-approval from me. You do not need a pre-approval from me. You can simply choose a country and move forward with it. Now, it is important that, let's say, two groups does Germany. Okay. It is important that you keep your independence, because this will be submitted to Safe Assign. And so it will be checking for plagiarism. So I suggest that you do not talk to other group that is doing the same country or collaborate with them. Okay, so to avoid any issue of plagiarism or copying, or again, this assignment will be funneled through Safe Assign. So please keep your work independent. Do not cut and paste from the sources. I would like these in your own words. Even if you reference it, I do not want you to cut and paste it from online. It has to be in your own words. Obviously, the factual figures that you get from the website, that's not an issue. It's a fact, like things like population, GDP, and so forth, that are factual that you have to obtain. But when you write the report itself, even containing these facts, it should be in your own words. Okay. So let's go through the rubrics that I've given to you. If you look at the rubrics, the first section is called, it's worth 10% of the report. It's called Form and Style. And I will be checking for grammar, spelling, and readability. And so make sure that the report flows. Make sure that there are no grammatical errors or spelling mistakes, and that it's easily readable. The report ideally should be looking like one person wrote it. Although you may have 5 different people working on different parts of the report, somebody at the end will have to go over the report and make sure that it flows and there's a transition and the report looks like one person wrote it. Okay, so grammar, spelling, readability is important. Effective use of statements. Now, one other thing is this is a business report, so I'm not particularly fond of long-winded statements. Okay, so write sufficiently with clarity and be discreet about your what you're trying to say. Each statement that you write in the report should be meaningful and effective. Okay. Some people can write a very effective sentence. Some people will write a paragraph explaining the same thing. Again, I'm more interested in reports that are efficient and effective. Now, there will be individuals who will ask me, is the point form okay? Point form, you have to be careful. I'm okay with the point form, but when you're talking about facts and items, you certainly should not. This is a written report. The report should not be all in point form. It should not be in all in point form. It is a report, but if you're presenting a fact, a statement may be more effective. But when you do a point statement, make sure you explain sufficiently so I know what I'm reading. Professional appearance. Whenever you write a report, and certainly most of you, if not all of you, will be working for an organization, and one time or another, you will be asked to write a report. Professional appearance is critical, right? Because it tells the reader that you've been very careful with the report, you've been organized the report, you've spent time and great care with the report. Professional appearance, I'm talking having a title page, a table of content. Make sure all the pages are numbered, excluding the title page. Title page should not have a page number. You should have titles for tables, charts, and appendices, and so forth. I know you've written many reports. Make sure it's well organized. Make sure it is clearly written, that you have titles and subtitles, okay, to make the report flow. And integration between sections of the report. Have some logical flow to the report. And the rubric is meant to help you have a logical flow to the report. So if you follow the rubric, which I'm going to talk about, in addition to form and style, then there's a logical flow to the report, and that each section sort of integrate with each other. So that's form and style, the basic report writing. Be careful with the spell check. A lot of people use automatic spell check. You need to check because spell check will pull in the nearest word, and it may not be the word that you may have intended. So that's form and style, worth 10%. Second section of the rubric is called data collection. It's worth 10%. Data collection, 10%. So here, what I'm asking for you to is some basic factual information on the country, such as what's the population, education level, income-related information, income level, GDP, what kind of political environment is it? Is it a totalitarian government? Is it a democratic government? Is it level of corruption, if you have some information on that? Is it rule of man, or is it governed by specific rules? Social economic conditions, any social instability or protests and so forth, exchange rate, whether you can pull the money out, and so forth. There's so many information online. You can just Google the country, and it'll give you these basic data, basic information on the country. Now, because this is international business, I am particularly, in addition to the sort of the basic facts about the country, so we have some understanding what the country is about, what kind of country it is, and so forth. But in addition to that, if you want to give us even further insight, I would be interested in information that pertains to operating a business in that country, or selling a product or service in that country. You know, level of corruption, level of bureaucracy, government rules and regulations, tariffs, and so forth. Okay, so if you really want to do a good job, a complete job on this, in addition to sort of simple facts, more enhanced information related to the business, or anybody that wants to operate a business in the country, that would be very helpful as well. The third part of the rubric is what we call analysis. And this is the most significant part of it. It's worth 40%, analysis. What I would like you to do is, once you've collected the basic information on the country and have some understanding what the country is about, I want you to do some analysis. Okay. Now, textbook contains a number of tools where you can do analysis. Okay. You're welcome to choose any tools, any concepts, any frameworks from the textbook to help you analyze business environment in the country. So there's several in the textbook. Okay. It's up to you to go through the textbook or the chapters that we've done, and also other chapters that I did not cover in the textbook. You may find some framework and concepts. I know, you know, in the past, in other classes, you might have done PESTLE analysis. Okay. You know, there's a framework called CAGE analysis in the textbook. PESTLE, I'm not sure if it's in the textbook, but certainly CAGE analysis is in the textbook. You can look at some of the other concepts and frameworks, and whatever frameworks and concepts that you think will be helping in analyzing and having a deeper understanding about the country would be helpful. So the analysis section is really meant you to get an in-depth understanding, instead of just simply presenting facts, but putting interpretations and meaning to those facts and how it means to impact the business. Okay. In the analysis section, you can also simply talk about your understanding and your interpretation of the country. You know, if the corruption is very high in the country, what does that mean to do business in that country? if there is a free trade agreement between those countries, if there's a free trade agreement, or if they're part of EU or part of ASEAN, or if there's political instability or social instability, like in Venezuela, what does it mean for the business opportunities and doing business in that country? I'm going to leave this up to you in terms of for you to choose the concept framework or simply your own analysis of how to understand this country, how in-depth understanding, and that will be the analysis worth 40%. This is more difficult because you're going to have to think about it. Any use of qualitative, quantitative data to support your analysis. I mean, your analysis should be strictly based on facts, both either qualitative or quantitative facts. You can't just make things up. Okay. You should also talk about the country in terms of pros and cons, or if you will, you can do a strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats in that country. That's SWOT analysis, although I prefer you to do more beyond SWOT analysis. But it's a beginning, it's a start. It's an insightful evidence-based development and evaluation of the country, as opposed to simply repeating the facts. Again, I don't want you to simply repeat those facts. That's done in the data collection section. Here, in the analysis section, I want you to give some in-depth understanding, provide some interpretation of the data that you've collected. Also, I would like you to give your opinions and thoughts here in operating a business in this country. Okay, so that's analysis section. That's 40%, and you probably need to spend the greatest amount of time here. The next section is key challenges. I want you to delineate and crystallize some of the key challenges in this country in order for you to operate a business in this country. It's worth 10%. Okay? What are the major barriers? What are the impediments for you to operate a business in this country? It could be culturally related. It could be administratively related. It could be politically related. It could be socially related. Simply identify the major barriers for you to successfully operate a business in this country. Okay, so that's 10%. Another 10% is recommendation. Here, you're going to finally recommend and whether companies should operate a business in this country, why or why not. You can't just say, yes, company can operate in this business. You've got to explain. And it means, to some degree, summarizing and repeating what you've already done in the analysis section, as well as key challenges section. Okay? But you've got to make it clear the reasons why you think operating this business in this country is great, or why it's not a good idea to operate a business in this country. And then the last section of the rubric is worth 20%. Okay? And this is the implementation section. And it says, discuss how companies should go about investing or operating a business in this country. What I'm looking for here is your really detailed information that if you're going to open up a business in this country, how is it exactly, okay, how is it exactly that you would go about opening up a business in this country? Tell me in terms of practical steps how you're going to actually open up a business, given all the information analysis that you conducted at this point. Now, if your recommendation was not to operate a business in this country, you need to clearly explain and discuss what are the things that the country must do in order to make it favorable for you to open up a business in that country. Now, I want you to be very detailed here as well. You can't just say, the corruption is high, therefore they should figure out some way to lower the corruption, so there's less corruption. I want you to discuss, in your opinion and your thoughts, how they can reduce the level of corruption in that country. And this assumes that you understand why the corruption is so rampant in that country, or why there's such a high political risk in this country, of social instability and so forth. So implementation is perhaps the very practical side, like what is it that you really, really need to do to be able to operate a business in that country, very specific steps, and I am looking for steps, sequential steps, that what are the things that you're going to exactly do, or if you recommend not to operate in this country, specific steps as how you can eliminate, how the country, the government in that country, people in that country can reduce these challenges or eliminate these barriers for you, so make it favorable for you to operate in that country. So I hope you have a fairly good understanding of what I'm looking for in this report. Just as you're writing this report, I want you to continuously think about in terms of business. Okay, in terms of, if you know, what are the things that I need to understand if I'm going to open up a business in this country? Okay, and what are the things that will particularly impact the business? Tracking group member contribution. You know, if you have group members, ensure that everyone is contributing equally. As soon as you hear this recording, you should probably get together as a group or contact your members and get moving as soon as possible. You have a couple of weeks to do this report, so it's probably a good idea to move very quickly. One nice thing is that you can do everything by Googling, you know, even maybe getting some analysis information. But again, I want to reiterate, it has to be written in your own words. You cannot cut and paste. You cannot simply repeat what you've gotten from. The safest sawing software will catch that, and it will red flag it as a plagiarism. And so please don't just cut and paste or write down, you know, exactly the way it is. You have to present it in your own words. You have to provide interpretation, meaning, and opinions on what on the information that you obtain. So, good luck with this. I really would like every member of your groups to work hard and contribute equally. Now, if something happens and a member or two members or whatever does not contribute equally, or they're not contributing anything, you need to tell me right away. Okay, if they're not showing up for meetings, if they're not responding to your emails, you need to tell me right away so I can have them do the report on their own, or send them an email just to make them aware of what's going on. Also, at the end of the project report, there is evaluation for members, how much they contributed. If you're satisfied with that all your members contributed roughly equally, you don't have to fill out that form. But if you feel that a member did nothing, you ought to. If the member did nothing, you ought to leave their name off the report. But you tell me that you left their name out because they contributed nothing to the report. If they contribute 10%, 20%, you know, whatever amount, you let me know, and that will become part of their assessment at the end of the semester. Okay, so good luck with your report. Long as you stick with the framework and the layout, you have some latitude in terms of how you will go about doing your analysis, and I'll leave that up to you. And you certainly have tremendous latitude of selecting a country that you would prefer to do it on without me selecting it on your behalf. Okay, so good luck.